Okay, we're live. All right, and while we're live, let's go ahead and also get a view of the chat in case people want to come in and chat with us. Okay, we have that up here. All right, go to... Okay, cool. So we have a good look at what is going on for our stream here. I'm going to just pop this over it so we can go ahead and get focused. I believe I'm the one viewer. If I'm not, say something in chat. All right. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a lot more planned.
Oh, great.
And while I'd be lying if I said that, just realized I got to fix this here. If I didn't have more planned, here we go. Pretty much none of it came to fruition.
Good. Good.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and start the podcast up. All right, counting down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's going on? You are listening to Knotty Gamers Podcast, episode 69. Come at you live on September 8th, 2017. 69, Chandler.
Just remembered I need to go home. I will see you later.
No.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. I was telling Chandler before we started recording that I had a lot more planned. Turns out my plans were not going to come true, not going to happen to fruition. It's when you order as many gummies in the shape of penises that I did, turns out they weren't able to fulfill the order. You're the one viewer.
Mm-hmm.
You're the one viewer, dang it. Okay. Turns out that I ordered 2 boxes of them. Yeah, not big boxes, by the way, just small boxes. And they said they could only gotten 1 out to me by the time I wanted it, and so they canceled my order. And I said, well, I'll just take the 1. And they go, well, by now we can't do it because it'd take us, like, we wouldn't get it to you till Saturday. And I'm just like, that's just not going to work, man. So that didn't work out. I had graphics, ideas for graphics to put up for the live stream as like the title card, where like the KNOTTY would be like crossed out, and it'd just be like spray painted on like NAUGHTY. Cause Knotty. Anyway, didn't work out, Chandler.
I'm so glad.
But let's go ahead and get down and dirty and talk about some housekeeping. Going to clean up a little bit with some housekeeping.
Okay.
From how dirty things are in this episode 69. Hoo-hoo.
I knew I should have been sick this week.
I know. I bet you wish you were. So, what we got going on, for those of you watching, of course, we have some decorations. Mom, Dad, if you're watching, please stop. Please stop. If the 69 thing wasn't enough to tell you to stop watching, this should be it. For those of you who don't know, we had to kind of clean up the podcast because my parents said they were going to start listening to it. If they ever fulfill that threat, which I think they said, oh, we should start listening to it. So for them, it wasn't a threat, but for me, it's a massive threat. Yeah, we got. So for those of you who don't know, probably none of you know, I backed the Blue Mountain State movie. Enough to get one of the characters to record a message for me. And I didn't want to be a creep or a perv, and honestly, it would just weird me out to own it. So I didn't have any of like the lady characters give a personal message. I picked a guy named Thad in the show to leave me a personal message, and I own it, and I have it, and one day I will give it to the person who I had him do the recording for. It's very good. It's very good. I keep meaning to show it to him, but I keep on forgetting every time I see him. But part of my rewards was a pint glass with the Blue Mountain State School logo on it, but also this very nice not jerking off and jerking off thing here. But of course, because of who we are and who I am, this is on a permanent not jerking off. I have my poster here from Ninja Sex Party's album that they put out under the covers. Ronald Reagan, as always, is riding the Velociraptor. That's nothing new with people who've never picked up on that. That's a thing that has been occurring. Got
historically accurate, too.
Yeah, very historically accurate. That noise is my chair because I bought a chair from IKEA, which is a terrible mistake that some people make. I am the people in this reference. So no, my fat butt is not crushing my chair. Thank you very much. Don't even bother leaving it in the comments if you choose to leave comments at all. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. You know, all that goody YouTube goodness. Right on. So Chandler, let's go ahead and talk about what is going on in the world right now. You spelled "your" wrong.
Nope. I know.
So, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the things that really... oh, yeah, by the way, preparations, not just the graphic and, like, the penis candy, also was going to have, I was going to, at random points, just, just reach over behind my chair, just grab, like, a handful of condoms and throw them at you. But while I was going to buy condoms... Oh, also, I was also going to buy, like, penis lollipops and all sorts of stuff. You'd be surprised the penis-shaped objects that you can actually find on Amazon. Within candies, of course. Candy and chocolate. Zyger, if you ever watch this, please don't do that. We know your candy habit. Don't do that. Right on. So, yeah, but then I found out that, and I didn't find out, I already kind of knew, I just didn't think about it at the time. Buying condoms is very expensive when all you want to do is throw them at people. I'm lost inside the interweb. Also, brush your teeth. Okay. I mean, at first I was like, oh, do my teeth look bad? But then I just realized he's pretending to be my mom. Mm-hmm. Ben Parrish, everybody. Ben Parrish. Pretending to be my mother. Even when I can see his name. Also, so let's go ahead and actually talk about some stuff that's actually going on. I see that. I see that. He's not going anywhere. He's stuck here with me. Now's where you're supposed to quote Rorschach and say, I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me. Anyway. Nope. Not the case. Okay. So, yeah. I mean... There's a lot going on right now with Knotty Gamers. We are at a really big impasse, I feel. We're seeing some traction on the videos that we've been putting up weekly. So if you don't know, every week we put out a new video for what's called Star Wars, the Star Wars story. It's gotten some pretty okay traction on it. Not as much as I think I'd like to see on it. But then again, we haven't done any SEO. Outside of just like the keywords in it, we haven't done any like for tags. We haven't done any SEO, and I think we got to start fixing that. Really, right now with our where we're where we're at right now as far as a company is this is kind of one of our over the next probably 6 months. It'll be our make or break moment. For it, whether or not this just stays the way it is for us and being that, or whether or not we make a push and effort to to grow and to become more than what we've been. I think that, we've already had talks about some more stuff we want to do in the future, more video series, more stuff that we want to do. But a big part of that is also having the support of our fans out there and the people watching and the people listening to our stuff. And we want to let you guys know that that means the entire world to us. This is a little bit more of a state of affairs as far as where we're going to be going. We're not really going anywhere. As far as from how things are going to be on your guys' end, not much is going to change. You might see our stuff more often. As far as like when you're like searching for something and it might pop up that we have a new video out or a new podcast or new things going on. I'm happy to announce that this weekend I'm going to be recording a podcast that's a crossover podcast for Destiny. A bunch of other podcasters that I've known for the last few years. A couple of us are really big Destiny fans, and I was asked to be a part of this project, and I'm really proud to be a part of it. I'm really excited about what we're going to do with it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's something that I really look forward to doing. Additionally, we're in talks we're in talks with somebody to possibly doing more streaming in the future. Mm-hmm. It's become very apparent a while back nice, Chandler, really nice.
What? I'm engaging with our viewers.
You are engaging with our viewers.
Viewer.
Yeah, our viewer. Very funny, Ben. Very funny. If you guys are wondering what all this little side talk is, maybe you should have been watching our live show. I'm just saying. We don't do this for nothing. He's taking his dog out, which is a nice way of saying he's not going to be watching our live stream anymore because we're not entertaining. That's untrue. We're definitely not entertaining. No, I mean, we really appreciate all of our fans. It's nice. Even though majority of you are not in America, many of you are probably just watching or listening to Americans just kind of like crack dumb jokes. And we hope you're not learning English from us.
Yeah, that'd probably be bad.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. We are bad at the English language. I use weird phrases all the time. Today, somebody called out that I wore this shirt. It's a kind of funny shirt, but it's a garbage truck on fire with a little kind of funny symbol on it. And my second day of my Japanese class, I was in, and one of the TA for the class, she asked me about it. She goes like, what is that? She's from Tokyo, and she asked me about it, and I said, oh, it's a garbage truck on fire. And she was very confused. And she just said, what is what does that mean? And I said, oh, when something's like really terrible, for example, our content, it is a garbage truck on fire. So very famously, the Kind of Funny morning show and prior to that, Colin and Greg Live was often joked by their cast as being a garbage truck on fire, rolling slowly down a slight incline. So
fair enough.
And of course, when you try to do something based off of your heroes, you try to emulate it as best as possible, which is why this is not a very successful show.
That way?
I was waiting for you to laugh because it's funny. It's funny, damn it.
Oh, ha 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 ha. Is that better?
I don't know. Probably not.
I'll drink to that.
We're really low energy. It's been a long week, specifically because we haven't gotten much sleep. Because those hours where normally you sleep is where I've been that's my only time to play Destiny. And Destiny 2 came out.
Mm-hmm.
That has been a big one. Destiny 2 has really done a number on my sleep schedule because I wouldn't let it interfere with my studies or my studies nor my homework. So something had to give. If it's not school and it's not work, then it has to be sleep.
That's usually that's normally where I go to first.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's been a great game. We'll talk more about it a little bit later. Just because there's some stuff that I want to talk about. We won't talk about it too much in detail as far as like the game itself, as far as like really intrepid details. Part of the reason why is because in order to keep this from being like a Destiny podcast, like it has been in the past when the expansion came out or anything like that, keeping it more focused onto this other podcast that I'm going to be doing is a good idea. However, since Chandler's not going to be on that podcast, at least not for the foreseeable future, it's a good opportunity for you to share a lot about what you're doing in Destiny and how your feelings are about it and everything like that. So
fair enough.
So there will be Destiny content still on this podcast. You don't have to go to another podcast to hear about it from us. But most of it's going to be coming from Chandler because most of my thoughts will be reserved for the other podcast I'm doing, which might sound like we're cutting content from our show, but that's really not the case. It's more to keep brevity there and not to be just like laden people down with, Destiny content when maybe they're not Destiny fans. And I'd hate to alienate any of our fans who aren't Destiny fans. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for housekeeping. I'm not thinking of anything else. We have a couple of other projects we're working on in the future. The popularity and success as far as like in comparison with our other projects, Star Wars, like we mentioned before, has been renewed for a second season. It's a matter of logistics and what we're going to be doing with it. We will have more news on that soon, I would assume.
He's looking at me because I'm running it.
Yeah, Chandler's running it. So, like all things Naughty Gamers, like in reverse of all things Naughty Gamers, I don't set it up and Chandler comes and does it. Really, a lot of our tabletop project has been Chandler focused. Chandler has been running the project. He's been doing a lot of the production on it. It's his house where we do it. It was his. Is it this episode where your grandma shows up? This upcoming episode this week?
Oh, I think so.
That's gonna be a treat for you guys.
She walks right past.
No, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. I don't want to spoil it for them. It's real good. Just take our word for it. Real good. I'm really excited for this episode.
All I'm gonna say is grandmas.
Grandmas, man. What you gonna do? What are you gonna do, man? But yeah, no, it's very exciting for us to be putting this new project together, and we'll have more details for you guys soon. But until then, Chandler, the question we always ask on this podcast: hey, what's going on?
Stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. What kind of stuff? 69.
You can no longer touch me and say 69 or any sexual reference for the remainder of the show.
It's not how episode 69 works, Chandler.
Yes, it does for me. I will walk out of here.
See, I'd push him, but I know he'd do it. Even if he's not being serious, for the sake of like, his integrity, he will.
Fairly serious.
That means he'd do it.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yes, but hey, big boy, what's going on?
So, school, you still going to school, I guess. So that's still a thing I'm doing. Other than that, pretty much Destiny 2.
Yeah.
What I've been doing.
I feel like the last few weeks have just been everything just like biding time, which is funny because it crept up on me.
Destiny 2 did?
Destiny 2 crept up on me. It
kind of did. I mean, when they announced it and I was like, oh, cool. That's cool, I guess. I'll see what I think about it later type of a thing. And then it's out already. So
yeah,
I don't know.
It's out and it's good. It's a good game.
Yeah. I've been enjoying it. All of the subtle nuances and stuff have really changed how like the game's played.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's been a blast. Other than that, I was prior to Destiny 2 coming out, I was still playing through my XCOM 2 War of the Chosen DLC game, which is still just amazing. If you like strategy games, if you like XCOM at all, XCOM War of the Chosen is really, really good.
Cheers.
Okay, fine. Let's see what else. What else have I been up to? That's really it.
Figured.
There's been a lot of Destiny 2.
Yeah, it came out. Man, it had a weird launch, though. It had a very strange launch.
I mean, I guess. How
Well,
so?
it
What
launched
do you
first
mean?
in New Zealand.
Oh.
Like, it launched first in New Zealand and the Australian time zone, and then slowly moved its way over throughout the day. And not towards us, towards, like, everywhere else but us, until it finally got to the U.S. At 9. And the thing is, the nice part they were doing is, if you were in a country where your time zone, like it started in a time zone in your country, they would the game would unlock for you. So it hit midnight on the East Coast in New York and Boston and the New England area. And as soon as it did that, it hit 9 o'clock or it hit midnight over there. It opened up for us at 9 p.m. I couldn't start playing because I had homework to do.
Right.
Which sucked, but it was actually good. I've had quizzes and stuff this last week, so it's a great time for me to be addicted to a new video game.
Yeah.
Hashtag sarcasm.
Not sarcasm, though, really, when you think about it. Do you regret it? No.
Regret what?
Exactly.
There's nothing to regret. I've had a great week. It's been a great week.
Well, I don't know. You were kind of implying that it would be bad to be.
I mean,
it kind of is.
It kind of is.
But it's not.
Yeah. No, it's been a great time. I've been digging Destiny a lot. We'll hop over to my corner. This isn't really going to be a long show because honestly, a lot of this show was planned to be gimmicks, and the gimmicks didn't work out. So, in typical Knotty gamers fashion, it doesn't work out for us. Nothing ever works out for us, but it's okay because you guys work out for us. You guys are the only good things in our life. Because, of course, we don't have girlfriends.
That's why we're doing that.
That's one of the reasons why. Well, no, I mean, honestly, let's face some facts here. I don't know about you, but I definitely don't have room in my life for a relationship.
No.
My relationship with you is all that I have room for. It's such a big relationship. It's super important in our lives. Chandler, you're out of focus.
I know. That was the point.
I know. But yeah, not much else has been going on for me. I've just been doing work, school, doing better in Japanese now. Not going to just burst into Japanese on the podcast. It'd be pointless. Or would it? No, it would be. That's gimmicky. I'm not going to do that. But I just said this entire episode is gimmicks.
You could speak some Japanese if you want.
Okay.
I won't know what you're saying.
Konbanwa. Daga-san.
Yes? Wait, no. Maybe.
I just said good evening,
Oh.
Duggar. I guess technically you're an incredibly close friend of mine, so I could just call you by your first name.
Yeah.
So just be probably like Chandler-san.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to not slur the L and might appear racist to people who don't know, so instead I will actually
Oh no.
Konbanwa, Chan-chan.
No. Nope.
Chan-chan.
Nope.
This is what I want now. One of our first pieces of merchandise will be like your head as like a little anime, like cutesy, like looking thing. And it's gonna have like just Chan-chan underneath it in Japanese. And it's gonna be like superimposed. Your face is gonna be superimposed on like a heart, or like the letters will be like balloonish looking paint a little bit, and it'll be Chan-chan.
This is not going to be a thing.
Oh, it will be a thing.
It will not.
At some point in the future, it will be a thing.
Nope.
That's the thing. I know very, very, very little Japanese, and most of it's like where you live. How old are you? Introducing myself, asking your name. Like, I don't know conversational Japanese. I know introductory Japanese.
Gotcha.
So unfortunately, most of it's not good. But I think Chan is a good glean from it.
Nope, it's definitely not.
Cha, n, or actually be chi, n. So chan.
I'm not responding to that.
I'm so excited. Would you prefer if I said Chandaru?
Yes, actually.
Too bad. Chan it is.
Nope, it's not.
Can't wait when we're in Destiny and in Fire Teaming, and I'm just like, oh, Chan, watch out. And everybody else is going to be like, what? And then it's going to stick as your nickname.
Destiny. Forever.
I'm so happy. Not gonna lie, it's been a really rough week. I haven't been exactly feeling too great, but this has just really lifted my spirits up. All right, Chan, let's finish the show.
Fuck you, pal.
Chandler. All right. Now, if I do a Michael McConaughey impression, can I say 69? I won't do like this 69, like that thing. I'll just do it as Matthew McConaughey.
I told you the rules were you couldn't touch me and then do that and then make sexual innuendos afterwards.
Is Matthew McConaughey's voice and like that impression a sexual innuendo?
Are you making it towards me after touching me?
No.
Then you're fine.
Okay.
That was the rule.
Oh! The rule was like the compound factor. It's the combo. It's like
yes.
Okay, I see. Okay.
I'm giving you some leeway here.
Okay, fair enough. I thought just like I have to figure out a way to get back into saying 69 because it's episode 69. And then I touch you with it.
No.
This has been fun. But yeah, I also so in the drought before Destiny, I say drought, it wasn't really bad. I picked up Everybody Loves Golf.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I talked about it last week. I played that really just up until the day Destiny was coming out. Everybody's Golf is fantastic. I love that game. Of course, it's taken a backseat to everything else in my life right now, which is Destiny and school and work. So it's taken a backseat to Destiny. Also on my Nintendo Switch, I got Puyo Puyo Tetris. For anybody who ever watched the Trove Talk episode with me, which was the second Trove Talk episode that our friend of the show, Trevor Starkey, did. Trove Talk episode 2, he talked to me about my favorite game. And my favorite game, for those of you who don't know, is Tetris. It's my all-time favorite game. I think it's the best game that's ever been created. I love Tetris to the extent that I can just literally sit and play Tetris for hours. Don't have a problem with it. Tetris mobilely is probably one of the best versions that you could have. Not currently, because all the current ones are like put out by like EA and it's garbage. It's hot flaming garbage. Tetris, not the new one that came out, or like the 2 new ones that have come out, but an older version of the app that I owned for many, many years on my smartphone was my preferred way of playing Tetris. Like I just had that down to a beat. This new one, it's like Tetris Galaxies or whatever, some stupid thing. It's like it's not Tetris. Like it's not Tetris the way Tetris is supposed to be played. So playing Puyo Puyo Tetris, you actually play a combination of Puyo Puyo, which is like a slime matching game, which doesn't really matter because it always takes a backseat to Tetris. I'm like through like I want to say like because there's like 10 stages to a level, and I beat level 3 before I put it down. There's a story that goes along with it that's like cutesy and anime-like, and I just don't give a flying fuck. You broke the F word. Well, the F rule, so I'm just dropping one now. But I don't care. Honestly, I skipped the story because I don't care. let me play Tetris. And then it says, you're going to play Puyo Puyo this time. And it's like, fine. Then I play Tetris. And then it's like, no, you're going to do this roulette thing where it's going to switch between Puyo Puyo and Tetris. So right when I'm about to wipe somebody out in Tetris, it switches over to Puyo Puyo. Pisses me off. But I do enjoy Puyo Puyo a little bit.
There you go.
It's nothing compared to Tetris. Tetris is the best. Tetris does something for me that just like no other video game can. It gives me like this calm peace of mind that nothing else in this world can. I love Tetris. Also beat the second Divine Beast in Zelda. And I've just been and I got the Master Sword in Zelda.
Okay. Yeah, you said you were thinking about doing that or doing another beast or something?
Yeah, I chose to do the Master Sword, and then I have the DLC for the Master Sword trials, which turns out, with how many hearts I have, not a good idea. In order to, I actually found out, I talked to somebody, and they said that in order to actually pull out the Master Sword, you have to have enough hearts for it, because when you're pulling it out, it'll like drain your hearts down. So you have to have a minimum of 13 hearts. And then as it drains, it leaves you like with a quarter of a heart left, and you can draw out the Master Sword, and you're fine. So I found a stat, but then I was like, okay, well, what do I do for that? And then another person told me, because I'm like, yeah, I'm just hunting like shrines to get hearts. And my friend I know said, oh, there's a statue. Have you discovered this village yet? There's a statue over there where you can swap stamina like chunks for heart. And so I had just enough to do that. And so went in, got the Master Sword. It's really cool, but I'd like to have the full powered Master Sword so I don't have to worry about crap anymore. But at the same time, do I want to? Because that way I'm just never going to use any other equipment ever again? Like no other weapons? That seems foolish. So instead, I think I might just keep the Master Sword, maybe not do the trials until much later into the game. But Goron City is my next goal, I think, to go take on that next Divine Beast. Big fan of the game. Big fan of the game still. I have people have been talking about like how much better it is than Horizon Zero Dawn. People have been talking a lot about like back and forth about those two games because they came out right around the same time, like literally a week apart, or maybe it was 2 weeks apart, but still so close together.
About a month.
Was it about a month?
I thought so, but
oh no, you're right. March, like Horizon Zero Dawn had March, and then beginning of April was when the Switch came out. So Horizon Zero Dawn was out. So basically, Horizon Zero Dawn was all anybody was talking about for a month, and then Zelda came out, and that just overshadowed it. I mean, I literally got perfect scores and reviews. Horizon Zero Dawn had to set up a new, like, entire franchise. It couldn't rest on the laurels of being, an iteration of a long-standing series. It doesn't have the nostalgia factor. Anyway, I'm not going to go too much more into it because I do have some hot takes on this that I'll be revealing at the end of the year. We'll talk about it off camera, no problem. But on camera and on podcast and publicly, I won't be speaking about it till Game of the Year because I have some serious hot takes that I think that's going to put me in a lot of hot water for a lot of people. A lot of people are going to be upset.
Fair enough.
And it's not that I just think Horizon Zero Dawn's a better game. I'm not getting into it. Just know there's more to this, and I'm looking forward to talking about it. I thought about maybe writing, and actually I did write a script for Gamers Complex about it, but decided to hold off. I might keep writing on that and working on that until I get to the very end of the year, reveal it on the podcast. You're mad. Why are you mad, Scott? Scott Warner is in the chat. Scott, who this week had his debut in Star Wars, a Star Wars story.
Yes. This last episode. He
is doing the thing that not too many gamers are willing to do, and he's playing outside of his gender. Not just like in an MMO or a video game where you just like, oh, I want to watch a hot chick run around. Scott he created a character that is a woman, of course, but he really created this idea of a character that he really wanted to do. And it really worked out really well. I think we all became a fan of the character. A lot of fun stuff happens in this show, man. I'm telling you. I've become gender. Yes, Scott, you have become gender. Scott is gender. Hear him roar. Scott's always kind of been the unofficial third member of Knotty Gamers. We've talked about him enough on the show that
he's mostly our mascot.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's a mascot. He's a very good mascot. Now, a lot of love for Scott. Thanks for being in the chat and watching the show. There's just a lot that there is to say about Zelda. That's just very good. It's very good. I'm still enjoying it. But, of course, it's also taking us backseat to Destiny 2. Granted, I have to beat Zelda before the end of the year. So, and with how much I'm going to be playing Destiny 2 for the rest of the year. I think I have one more other game in me this year that I can do. But I think that might be it for me. Like, I don't know if I'm going to pick up... I don't know if I'll get Mario Odyssey. I know that's kind of controversial for a lot of people. But, like, I'm not, like, the biggest fan of 3D platforming Mario games.
Fair enough.
I like them a lot, but, like, it's just not my... It's not that shtick that makes me just, like, get all, makes me get all, like, fuzzy inside. Mario games, to me, are about a challenge. And I don't know if this... when you run out of coins, because when you get hit in the game, instead of like losing life bars or anything like that, you lose coins.
So it's Sonic?
Pretty much. Very upset about that, by the way. Not happy about that, because what happens when you get to 0 coins, Chandler? Nothing. Literally nothing happens to you. There's no dying in this game.
Mm.
Which to me, like, I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't know how I feel about that, because one of my favorite things about Mario 64 was getting hit really badly, having very little health, and then having like that you are about to finish the level, you're on barely any health. It's not a boss level, you just have to get to the end goal. And so you're just like, but you're trying to avoid the little things that'll get you nicked and cut or anything like that would actually make you lose just that last bit of health. That getting on the edge of that, just like that feeling of it, the feeling of just like like that feeling that you get when you're like, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, and then you don't, and you win, and it's successful, and it's
I felt that way through the majority of my playthrough through Horizon.
Yeah, because you played on like the hardest difficulty.
Stupid hard, yeah.
You played it stupid hard. You're like, man, I can't get to, I haven't gotten to that part yet. And I'm like, well, why haven't you gotten to that part yet? You've played way more than me. Well, I don't know if you know this, but I went a walker. And I'm like, the walker, like the little guys, and you go, they're not little to me. I'm like, what happens? And you told me all your strategies about beating these things. These things that for me, I just sneak up on and stab and kill automatically. Because I chose a much more stealth playthrough for Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, very fun, by the way, doing that, like, where it's much more stealth. The game doesn't cater towards that. So there's not a lot of skills to help you out, which gives it that challenge to it. It's a lot of fun. But yeah. The same feeling of hitting a hunter from behind in Halo. Okay. Yeah, exactly. I keep on forgetting the chat's a bit behind from where we're at. But yeah, no, that same feeling that you get when you're like, I'm like, you got it. Like, you got it. Like, I can't believe I did it. I got it. Those moments that you get that you're not going to get in this Mario game. And I just don't know how I feel about that. Playing the original Mario and taking my time because I'm a little kid and then finding out that there's a timer that you have to beat the game before.
Right.
Like, there's things about the Mario games that have always been a challenge. No matter your age or your skill level. And I don't know how I feel about Odyssey not having it. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But I think the last game that I'll play this year is probably going to be Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein 2.
Does that come out in November?
It comes out in November. Like, it looks real good. It'll be coming out after Extra Life. So,
right.
For those of you who don't know, I'm going to Extra Life. I've been invited. I think I mentioned it, but I've definitely mentioned it before on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I was invited by Irrational Passions to go to their Extra Life event. Like, that's set in stone. Like, I'm good. I'm going.
Right.
Like, I've already made all the arrangements. Like, I'm good to go for it. So, in fact, I think, the first person to like confirm and like give full confirmation on it. So,
Huh?
I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited about it. But it'll come out once I get back, so I'll have some time to have like scrounge up some money for it. But I'm really looking forward to it. Wolfenstein New Order. I probably need to pick that up and play it at some point.
Oh, the prior.
The first one, yeah. They say the first like half an hour of the game is really, really, really bad. Like it's just boring. And then you get to like half an hour, 45 minutes in, and that's when the action starts, and that's when the game gets good. But a lot of people only played it for like apparently like half an hour before like this game is bad.
Fair enough.
So, you know, I'm very excited about that just because I like what I've heard from it. I've liked what I've seen from it. I like the idea that you wake up and you find out Nazis took over America, because it says something about what's going on right now in the world and right now in our country. I think this is one of those moments. It's kind of like when Batman Dark Knight Rises. They talked about like that entire idea of like class warfare was happening a couple years after the recession hit us in 2008. It came out at a time when Occupy Wall Street was happening. And it's like Dark Knight Rises was put in production and finished production way before like the Wall Street or the Occupy Wall Street movement started. But it touched on these things that like are so immortal, and the ideas of those who have and those who have not. The ideas of the schism that's really happened in the last 20, 30 years in America, where, you know, if you adjust for inflation and cost of living in Arizona, a minimum wage should somewhere be between $10 and $12. Somewhere within that range, because that's what a minimum wage is. If you adjust for the original minimum wage with inflation, that's what it is. Plus a little bit of movement. I say 10 to 12 because you have to have a little bit of movement for cost of living. For cost of living and inflation of the dollar in places like San Francisco and New York City, Chicago, you know, places that are much more expensive to live, adjusting for those appropriately, you get somewhere between the $13 to $16 range. So when people say, well, you know, McDonald's employees, $16 an hour, that's crazy. It's like, well, if that's like the minimum wage in a place like New York City, I get that. But in like Tulsa, Oklahoma, I don't think they need $16 an hour for that.
Yeah.
You know, your cost of living and the adjustment for inflation for the dollar where you live needs to be appropriate, and that's what local government I think needs to do. So anyway, we got into a weird political like offshoot here, but let's turn back a little bit. Wolfenstein: A New Order, I think, or Wolfenstein 2. I just think it looks so cool. It looks so cool. It sounds so cool. I love the idea of taking on Nazis on our home turf. Because how many games have you in wheelchair? There's a level where you are in a wheelchair and you are shooting.
I think.
Yeah, that's the first level, and you're killing people, and you have to like plan how you move around the level, because if you go down the stairs, you can't get back up because you're in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
It's super cool, and I love that idea of using the environment to tell how bad and messed up your character is. How many games where it's like, man, that was a crazy ending, you almost died, but you're going to be A-okay now because it's a new game. Like your character, like you see BJ Blazkowicz, he has like a suit that's helping him like move around while he's healing. And it like pokes through all of his clothes. It's really cool. It looks, and honestly, I really like the idea of like you have like it's in the 70s, man. It's in the 70s or late 60s, early 70s. It looks like, so you're going to have like that, like the counterculture, but what's the counterculture like in a country that's been occupied by the Nazis for a decade plus, or more than that, like 30 years? You know, there's a scene in one of the gameplay trailers that you can watch where you go in for the milkshake, and it's a Nazi drinking a milkshake.
Oh, right.
And like the scene where like the Nazi officer comes in, and the mom immediately says, "Okay, we're leaving now." Takes her kid with her. And it's like, well, why? Like, is it? And it's nothing. It's just because they're Nazis. Like, this is scary.
Right.
It's scary for these people living in this town, in this place. It's scary. And I like that because it is scary. It's scary that we have neo-Nazis, more than like a dozen of them at a time now. It's like we had hundreds of people protesting the tearing down of a Confederate general statue, General Robert E. Lee, which, you know, that's not even the issue. The issue is that these people were there and one of them actually ran over a person and murdered her. That happened in our country like a month ago. Charlottesville, a couple weeks ago.
I think so, yeah.
Like, this is so it's just, I love it when serendipity works out. I love it when things are serendipitous and they work out. So this, as far as this goes, I'm very excited about Wolfenstein 2. Very excited. Not just because, oh, I want to shoot Nazis. It's to take on Nazis that took over America. Yes, please. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah. Let me think here. Anything else that... I guess we'll just go ahead and hop over into news. And by news, in episode 69... I'm joking. Let's go ahead and just take a look at news. There isn't that much news because
everybody's playing Destiny.
Everybody's playing Destiny. But let's go ahead and take a look, actually, real quick, over at the Metacritic. Let's take a look at Metacritic, because let's see how well Destiny's been reviewing. Destiny 2 is sitting at an 88 on Metacritic.
Yeah.
And all the negative ones there is basically saying all they did was give it a new HUD, blah, 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 whatever. Whatever. It looks like it's getting 9s. You know, it's in the 9s. So it's within the 8 and 9 range scale, which is what we would expect out of this game.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely give it I give it a 9 out of 10. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars, or 4.5 out of 5 stars on our scale that we used to use. Of course I would. It's a great game. It really plays really well. It plays well. It feels good. I was afraid after trying it on PC.
Or the Chosen's only 88?
That's, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a confirmation of a fanboy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I think it's yeah, you just saw, like, you are far back there and you just saw XCOM and you jumped forward to look at that. Jeepers Louise. All right.
No, that's a good score.
That's a good score. Let me see here.
Although I don't think I'd probably give Destiny 2 more of that 80.
That 80 to 90 range?
4-star.
4-star rating? I get that. Yeah, no, this is ooh. Okay, so actually it had a higher score originally from IGN. They dropped their score for it. Because of, it looks like, a lack of end game content. Because the end game content's coming out next week.
I guess.
The raid's coming out next week. I don't know what people were expecting, but all right.
Well, never mind. I don't want to. This isn't a spoiler cast, so I don't want to say anything.
I get you. Okay.
There was a lack of something specific at the end, if you noticed.
We'll talk about it off.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that off camera. Yeah, but no, I think it's good. It's a good game. If you like Destiny 1 at all, like even vanilla Destiny, you're like, I just like the way it felt. I don't know about the story.
There's a way more. I don't necessarily want to say way more, but there's a more emphasis on story.
Here's the thing. I would say there's way more story content because of how sporadic the story content in Destiny 1 was. I'd say quantity-wise, it's roughly about the same, but it's not strung out the way it was in Destiny 1.
Yeah.
The story is like, it's concise, it knows what it wants to be, it knows what it needs to do, and it does it. It definitely feels more like the story from The Taken King or from Rise of Iron. Even the story from House of Wolves. House of Wolves had a really short, concise story. It's not a short story by any means. It took, I don't know, it's probably like a 10, 12-hour story. If not longer, actually. It might be longer than that now that I think about it. I beat it this morning, and I've probably put in...
It's kind of hard to say because you didn't just do the story.
That's true. And I didn't... And even if you just did the story, is that everything that you... like? There's a point where you have to be level 15 or a certain light level to finish the story, because otherwise you'll die. Yeah. And so you do have to either do side stuff along the way or do side stuff after that point to get to that point. It's not hard. I would actually say leveling up in Destiny 2 is one of the easiest things to do.
Yeah.
There's not a strong gap, like a strong grind in it. I think they perfectly understood the grind needs to be for gear, not for levels. I think that's the good emphasis to have on it.
Yeah.
I love the way that they're unlocking the classes this time around.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Because of course you lose your light, which means you lose all your abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. I think that's a really cool idea. I know originally, like, lose your abilities, cool. Lose your gear, I don't know about that. We famously had, or not famously, but for listeners, we definitely had that very strong debate between the two of us about our feelings about the reset aspect of Destiny 2.
Yeah.
As far as like what could be brought over, what couldn't, and everything else like that. One thing I will say, I feel bad for anybody who ever bought silver and still had any left in Destiny 1. Because I thought when they said the silver won't carry over, that means, okay, they're not going to do silver, they're going to do something different. Nope, silver.
Mm-hmm.
You literally could just refund people their money for their silver or let them carry their silver order, like, over. I'm just saying that's kind of a shit thing to do.
Yeah.
This is real money we're talking about, but I guess I get it, whatever. I get it. You bought it knowing that you were only going to use it in Destiny 1. It's a real not great thing to do. All you have to do is move numbers from one place to another. That's all you had to do.
It's not that simple, but I understand your concept.
I know. Anyway. I thought maybe like, since the Eververse is a company, you'd be like buying stock in the company to get access to stuff. I don't know. I had ideas about what I think would have been cool for them to do. And I'll get more into that on the Destiny podcast, because now is the time, of course, for us to talk about everything else that's been going on. I don't know. There's not much else going on news-wise, outside of the fact that, of course, our hearts and like we really are just sending our best wishes and feelings towards the people who are being impacted by the storms that are happening right now in the aftermath of Harvey and the floods that the flooding that happened there after the hurricane. To those in Mexico who suffered an 8.0 earthquake from the tsunami and everything else with that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Our best wishes are with you, to all of the brave men and women fighting in our United States military. Big shout out to you folks out there, because I can only imagine how things are politically right now or geopolitically right now with what's going on with North Korea. And of course, if for any of you out there who aren't native U.S. listeners or U.S. bound in general, best wishes out there for you guys as well. And in this really tumultuous time, geopolitically, as well as for any of our fans out there who are from Louisiana, from Florida, from any of these countries that have been affected, the small more Caribbean-based countries. If we have any of you guys out there, we love you. Best wishes. Hope if you are able to hear this, that it finds you in good health and good spirits. And for those out there who have been impacted by Harvey and Irma in Texas and Louisiana and Florida, our hearts go out to you guys. You can for those of you who are wondering why we're not doing more, if you guys want to donate to the Red Cross or to any other humanitarian organization that is doing outreach with these folks out there, please do so. You can just Google Red Cross, or if you know of any others, please do so. An alternative a lot of people don't know about is religious organizations. Religious organizations, for the most part, are out there trying to do this. A lot of them are putting every dollar to dollar that you donate to them for this kind of stuff. A lot of times they're asking for goods that they know the people over there need, water, paper towels, toilet paper, that sort of stuff. So a lot of it, you can probably just buy that stuff yourself and give it to them, and they can send it off to where it needs to go. Because if you are afraid that, rightfully so, that this organization might not use your money in the best way possible, donate goods, because that gets to them. Outside of that, I guess, in order to leave on a better note, it's weird ending an episode like episode 69 on such a down note, but I mean, that's kind of the world we live in. And of course, we would never want you guys to think we don't know what's going on out in the world and that, we don't care, because we do. You could say one of the problems, I personally have is I care too much. Normally that's like a funny thing to say, but for me it's not.
Don't.
I didn't say anything. I haven't said it.
That's always been one of the rules.
I know. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything else that we were going to talk about. We've already reached almost an hour, and we said it was going to be a shorter one.
We did?
I think towards the beginning, because we just didn't have too much to talk about. It was going to be a more gimmicky episode.
Oh. Right.
I didn't expect this last 10 minutes to be dedicated towards people out there who are, might be suffering. So
that's okay.
I don't know. I just felt moved in the moment to talk about it. I didn't plan on it, but I'm glad we did. Chandler, any last words you want to send out to the people?
No.
All right. Well, Chandler, thank you so much for being here with me. Everybody, thank you so much for listening to Knotty Gamers episode 69. Sorry, Knotty Gamers podcast episode 69.
Oh my God.
I've been your host, Cameron Abbott, the unsexiest comedian that you know, and the man whose face is built for radio. And joining me, of course, was the man who just went with it, Chandler Duggar.
Yes.
You can follow me at Unsexiest Comedy. You can follow Chandler at Just Went With It. That's why he's the man that just went with it. You can follow us at Knotty Gamers on Twitter, Instagram. You can go to facebook.com/KnottyGamers. If you want to listen to this on SoundCloud, we're there. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and of course, if you're watching this live, thank you so much for watching us. It's our absolute pleasure to do something like this with you guys. Hopefully we'll have more live shows in the future, not anytime soon because we want to keep these special. Usually we save these for like spoiler casts, but
yeah,
something more special. We'll definitely be doing a Destiny 2 spoiler cast. But let's go ahead and go into viewers and listeners' questions, because we did actually receive some when I asked for them. Funny enough. Let's go ahead and hop over to Twitter, where I know a good friend of the show, Alex Von Aken, over at OK Beast, those guys over there who are killing it. Alex Van Aken asks, thoughts on the current Crucible meta favoring camping more so than the previous game?
I don't have any thoughts on it because I haven't done Crucible yet.
Oh, okay. I see.
So
I have some thoughts on it. I'll be brief just because, once again, this is when we talk Destiny, it's more going to be Chandler's side of things. But when it comes to Crucible, I've been playing a little bit of Crucible here and there. It's a good breather, good break in how things are working. Let me see here real quick. I'm hopping over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/KnottyGamers. I don't think I saw any questions left there earlier, but we'll go ahead and take a moment to see. Let's see here. Nope, I don't think anybody posted anything there, so we appreciate that. But yeah, let me double check here real quick. Yeah, no comments on the Facebook page, just this question on Twitter, which is okay because it's better than most of the time what we did. We used to have that fourth corner that we used to work with people on, and nobody ever sent anything in. So we discontinued it. But
we put it on the back burner. I didn't say we discontinued it.
If you guys want to, if you guys send questions,
if we have questions,
yeah, it's there if you have questions. Never feel tweet at the Knotty Gamers Twitter account. Leave a comment on Facebook. We're more than happy to listen to what you guys have to say. You guys and gals out there have to say. A special shout out to, of course, all of our fans of both genders and other genders as well. I guess I don't want to be exclusionary, of course, because we love all of you. Love and respect, Chandler. That's what this podcast is all about.
No, it's actually about video games. But moving on from that.
Right on. So yeah, no, I played some Destiny Crucible and Destiny 2. I would say that I don't know if the meta is shifting that way. I understand. I think I've seen some of that. I don't really bother with it. I don't know. I was playing earlier today when I was playing before I had to go to class, and I played a Crucible match where it was, I think it's called Challenge or Countdown. I think it's Countdown is what it's called. Essentially, every time you die, you lose a life that your team is able to respawn.
Right, the token,
Yeah.
revival token things.
Oh, not revival tokens. Or maybe it is revival tokens because you revive yourself. But essentially, it is just your team can only, I think, revive like a total of 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
And so if people die, that knocks one down. Eventually, everybody has one last life left.
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing a game of that. We went from going. It was a really cool experience because we went from going from we lost 2 games, won barely. We barely won it. And then we lost 2 more games. We lost the first game, won the second game, lost 2 games. And then it was time for point match. And we came back and took it. We won. However, I will say that I don't know if it's camping, but I did notice a bit more of a hunkered down mentality in controlled spaces as well as when you're moving. Destiny 1 was very famous for that, running gun gameplay. Mm-hmm. Or like you could camp, but you could also run and gun. And those were really the 2 optimal strategies that you would have. Mm-hmm. It was all about reaction time, who saw who first, everything like that goes into a great Twitch moment in first-person shooters. I'm noticing that less this time around. One thing I will say is I don't know if it's camping is overwhelming in the meta. I don't find that I'm being punished for not camping, which is usually how you can tell in the meta you're being punished for not doing what everybody else is doing. Mm-hmm. I found that being one-on-one with somebody, like in a firefight, it's a bit more of a bob and weave maneuver. Like, notice your surroundings, see what you can hide behind, and use it a bit more. It plays with a bit more like cover in the Crucible maps I've noticed this time around. Large open areas are just kind of not there. It's definitely much more busy as far as space goes. Level, like there doesn't seem to be like a flat surface that everybody runs around on and then there's some elevation. It seems like there's a lot of dips and curves and everything else going on in the maps right now, which I like. I think that creates a lot of diversity on the map. It's a lot of fun. I will say I had a lot of fun playing Crucible. Something I will say, however, is that if camping is part of the meta, there's really only 2 options you have if you're dealing with camping as a primary point of meta. You can either camp and follow the meta and not be punished for it, or you can punish yourself and punish others for camping. Mm-hmm. If you know somebody's camping, there are punishing tactics that you can use to draw them out, or burn. What I like to do is I like to smoke them out.
Fair enough.
I like to create enough emphasis, maybe die once or twice. And I did notice, I've noticed some people camping, but I mean that's nothing new in Destiny.
It's really nothing new
in
any game.
And any games like that with PvP, but I've not noticed it more than anything. I think what maybe people are confusing with camping with hunkering down, which is if you're with a group of folks and you know that the enemy's coming around a corner, and you're coming around a corner as well. On the map that we were at, there was a point in the map where both teams would come around corners and you'd have to hunker down. Mm-hmm. What that means, the difference between camping and hunkering down is camping is like you hide around a corner and you wait for somebody to run along.
Right.
You wait for somebody to come along and then you kill them. So you're camping. You sit down and you don't do anything. Hunkering down is you drop low if you need to, and you move slowly. Move into a position, hunker down, wait for your team to gather up around you guys, take optimal position so you have good coverage, and then slowly move across until you meet the enemy, at which point then you pitch battle. I think maybe that's what people are being confused on. In the very brief moments of Destiny that I've been playing, pitched battles with teams seem more normal than, it feels more like, I guess, in a way to put it, it feels a lot more like Rainbow Six Siege than it does Call of Duty. Slow down, hunker down, figure out where everybody else is going to go with you if you don't have verbal communication with them. You see people coming around a corner, hunker down. You can choose to charge in, but that's going to get you shot, which is fine if that's how you want to play, if you want to play more aggressively like that. Or you can if your other teammates aren't charging in, don't charge in without them. Hunker down, take it slow, and commence firefight. Because if they have teammates that are camping, their teammates aren't going to be there to support them. and you can quickly wipe out 1 or 2 guys if you have all 4 members of your fire team. That's not camping. If you think that's camping, that's not camping. Camping's lying on the ground and waiting for somebody to come across so you can shoot them. Camping is the idea of staying in one place. Then what I'm referencing is hunkering down. If you know you're going to be pitched into battle in one of these smaller area maps, that's not camping. Their enemy knows you're there. They have radar. They know you're there. There's no hiding it. You know they're coming. They know you're coming. You're pitching battle. And I think that may be something that's very not normal for first-person shooters. For anybody who's played Rainbow Six Siege, you know that hunkering down, especially if you're on defense, is the best option sometimes. Stay focused. Have your team covering entrances and exits. It's kind of that same way here in Destiny, I feel. At least in the game mode I was playing with Countdown, because you have a finite resource. I also played Control a little bit, and Control was... I played much more aggressively in Control, and I had to deal with a camper or 2 over the games that I played. But I never felt like I needed to worry about it. Also, another point to point out, it's not camping if an enemy sees you and goes from behind the wall to in front of the outside to shoot you and then moves back. That's not camping either. I think maybe people are thinking non-aggressive play is camping. That's not camping. That's turtling. And if all you do is turtle, you're a piece of garbage. I'm joking. Campers all out. Turtles, no. Sorry, it's all the cabal that I've had to deal with recently.
Fair enough. I don't know. I think if so I haven't played Crucible yet. But if there's this kind of playing, switch to these more, you want to call it camping or more tactical thinking gameplay element, I think that's a good thing. If it's really just people clumping together, more moving as a group, and it might be that attack defend kind of thing. If your job in a PvP match is to defend something, camping is already implied in that aspect of the game.
You're staying in one place.
Yeah, because you're defending something. So, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things that we'll just have to kind of wait and see. And if it becomes an issue, I'm sure there'll be patches and whatever else. But while we were kind of talking about stuff, my mind started going back to the big LAN parties that I used to have with Halo 1.
Mm-hmm.
And those games would last for hours. And we would take turns basically camping at the flag because somebody had to defend the flag. Otherwise the other team was going to grab the flag and score. So
something to note, the only reason camping should ever catch you off guard is if you don't know they're camping there. If they are legitimately camping, use anti-camping strategies. No camp that somebody sets up is 100% secure.
Yeah.
Find out a way to smoke them
grenades.
Exactly. Use a grenade. If these people are camping, get more into doing grenades. Specialize in having your grenade recharge faster. Do that. Right now I use Arc, Strider, Way of the Wind, because if I run and I sprint, which I mostly do when I travel anywhere in the game, including PvP, if I'm sprinting, it drops the cooldown faster. And so it cools down faster and I can use my grenade again. Super useful.
Yeah.
So I will say, I'm not trying to say don't be a baby or something stupid like that, but don't be a baby. No, the meta will evolve. If people find it more advantageous to camp and that becomes the new meta and it punishes you for not camping, adapt. Adapt. Focus more on anti-camping then. You died once, okay, now move back. Now I think it's going to be a bit interesting if camping is the new meta, what Trials of the Nine are going to be like next week. That's going to be interesting.
And maybe this whole, I guess, camping mentality or something like that is kind of Destiny's way of saying, hey, Crucible's great, Crucible's fun. Maybe you should communicate with the rest of your team, because how many times do you go into a Crucible match and you're the only one in the group and you're not communicating with the other players because A, you don't want to, B, you don't want to. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't play random Crucible matches solo, going in and talking to everybody else on my team. That's just me. I'm assuming that's a lot of other people, because usually you hear like maybe one or two people on mic in a Crucible match. Either, you know, their other players are in a group already, or whatever the case is. And maybe this is just a way to say, hey, maybe you should communicate with your other teammates.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The game that I mentioned earlier, where we came back from 1 to winning the game, none of us were talking to each other.
Yeah.
But we were all communicating. Because if I saw, and I'm not going to lie, I led the charge on a lot of things. I led us to the pitched battles because I knew that was going to bring us victory. So I moved, and I expected my teammates to follow through, and they did, because they realized, hey, you know, this guy seems to have an idea of where, like, what we should, like, the direction we should be going, because I already figured out in this map where the murder holes were if you spawn at a certain point in the map. If you go forward where you spawn, you will die. So go out and around.
Right.
And do that. Like, that's what you got to do. And eventually that would cause the other group to, like, move around, and they would just be, like, out. They had a lot less cover in that area, and we took advantage of it. We had a lot more cover. We took advantage of it, and we wiped them out. And then they adapted. They maneuvered, because they realized on their end of things they had where this power weapon ammo is. So we got punished for not going over there and getting the power ammo. The game evolved from that point, and it was a really great game, because I really got to know, okay, this is... But really, realistically, when things were tough in the game, one of us would die, we would all hunker down. We would all move together, and we realized if I saw somebody else on my team was taking off in one direction, boom, I was going to follow, because we had to stay together.
Right.
Not all Crucible matches are going to be like that. When I play Control, I like to go rogue. I like to break off from everybody to go capture, like, the base that they were at, the point where they were at, to cause them to realize, okay, we can either pursue the point where the other group already is, or is already moving to. But eventually you're always going to have one or two guys who go, oh, they're taking our base, we got to go back.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I split their party that way. So I break off, and I usually like to go by myself, because that's the thing. I move around with everybody else, and then I slowly break away without anybody. If they see me, they just think, where's this idiot going? Which is fine. But when only 2 guys in the other fire team show up, you're welcome. Because I'm dead as well, probably. Not always the case. A lot of times I take the base, and then by the time I take it, they are coming back from, okay, the other guys are there already. They're shooting at us. Let's move back and kill the guy who's trying to take ours, and then try to move to theirs. Or maybe they move to theirs instead. There's a lot of awesome things about Control like that. That's just fun things to do, because I'm solo. I'm going to do it by myself. But I don't know. I haven't played enough Crucible, I think, to really give you a firm confirmation about the current meta. But the meta will adapt. The meta will change. People will find one weapon that is supposedly the best weapon to use in PvP, and then somebody will find another one. Somebody will find out, oh, if you put this mod on this gun and have this perk selected, it lets you do this, which gives you a 0.006% boost in, like, target acquisition or whatever. Like, this will happen. It always happens in these games, and I like that. I think it's cool. So that's it for us, though. Over here at Knotty Gamers, thank you guys so much for listening to episode 69 of the Knotty Gamers podcast. I've been your host, Cameron Abbott, and this has been Chandler Duggar. And thank you all for listening. And for all of you watching at home, thank you so much as well. Stick around. We're going to be saying a few more things afterwards. But for all of you who listened, stay complicated out there. Cool. That's taken care of. I'm going to go ahead and save that real quick. Here we go. I was about to say, you better let me say that.
No saving.
All right, that's been episode 69. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching live, we really appreciate it. Future live streams will probably have something like giveaways at some point. But we'll see what happens with that. We'd like to do giveaways and things like that, but we need, sponsors or somebody else to do that for us as far as getting acquisition on things. Oh, that's why, because that's let me see here. There you go. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. But we really appreciate it. A lot of love for everybody who's been in chat, who has just been watching, who are just cool folks. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, where's the actual thing? Here we go. As always, stay complicated out there.